Hello, Professor. My name is Min. I'm from Group24, and today I will be presenting about the news that I found. And the title is "A New Wave of Low Interest Rates Has Emerged," and it's the case in Vietnam. And the term for the terminologies, so I found the credit growth. It means simply means the growth in outstanding loan, and it's shown in percentage. So what happened? Uh, in, so in 2020, recently, from the fourth quarter of 2020, many commercial banks have decreased their lending rates for both borrowing businesses and individuals. And it is expected that this trend will keep growing for the remaining last months of the year. So why did it happen? So there are several reasons. First of all, the Central Bank of Vietnam has recently cut the interest rate for commercial banks for the third time in 2020. So this gives ways for the commercial banks to gain cheaper funding and subsequently so that they can subsequently lower the interest rates for to support the businesses. And the second reason is that there is excess liquidity in the market. So this is due to the slow credit growth in relation to growth in mobilized capital. So by the end of September, the credit has just grown by merely 6.09%. So in comparison with the rate of 9.4% of the same period last year. The third reason is that the banks in Vietnam are still gaining profits despite the impact of COVID-19. So the average growth in the first three quarters of 18 banks, which have announced their financial results, was 10%. But in contrast, many businesses in the country are struggling to continue running. And during the first 9 months of 2020, around 38,600 businesses temporarily stopped operating, and nearly 14,000 businesses went for dissolution. So in this case, the banks feel the need to lower their interest rates to support the recovery of businesses. And the fourth reason is that recently in October, there's an event which is the deadly floods in the central region of Vietnam, and and due to which reason the central bank recently encouraged the financial institutions in the country to lower interest rates for borrowers who were impacted by the floods. So not for only for the new loans, but also for outstanding loans. And what are the potential impacts of this event? So in the short term, I think banks profits will likely decrease because they have to lower interest rates. But in the long term, the banks will regain their profits because as the borrowing businesses recover from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, it will lead to higher credit growth and higher demand for banking services. And for my opinion, I think that in this case, perhaps the commercial banks have no other choices than to lower interest rates because if they don't, they would more debts would turn into bad debts, and it will incur losses for the banks. So here are my references. Thank you for listening.